in Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream and the podcast. And of course, the Portuguese citizenship test question, number 52 this morning. And I'm slightly discombobulated here because StreamYard, the software that we use for streaming the Good Morning Portugal show, which is excellent ordinarily, has introduced. Now, this is the perfect example of the road to hell being paved with good intentions, or no good deed goes unpunished, because I now have, I am broadcasting in Mars, which apparently is an acronym for something to do with two screens. I don't know what the M, clearly what the M, the A, the R, or the S stand for, but this new system allows me and Mrs. M to broadcast both in vertical and horizontal formats. So I have the usual view that I'm used to seeing in landscape, and there's also a portrait view now, which is supposed to broadcast it without black bars and the compression that you get that's sometimes quite annoying. But actually, it doesn't seem to be working. Hide the preview of your vertical broadcast. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to move on as though nothing ever happened with regard to that. And all of the previews I've got of the images and so on, and perhaps you can tell me if you're watching on your phone in vertical format, if that's working any better for you. I somehow think it might not be. It might be just something that they've tried really hard technically to do, and it's not working very well, as it turns out. Or I'm just used to using the old system, and I'm not helping with the new one. Anyway, let's proceed and wish you a very good morning. It's I think there's another one of these depressions coming in. I don't mean in a Churchillian sort of way. I mean in terms of the weather. Is it Claudio is upon us? And I could hear Claudio rattling the windows last night, and it's certainly windy this morning, and the weather's not too great either. A few of your greetings before we go to the Portuguese citizenship test question. Then number 52. It's a blum dear from Jackie. Jackie, you're going to have to get a bigger phone, I think. Certainly, or a keyboard to go with it. A Bluetooth keyboard, perhaps. Maybe he's getting his towel. What? Yes, what? Because of the damp weather. And a good morning to you, Gemini. Gemini, on time this morning. You don't need to apologise if you're late for the show or don't catch it. It was very sweet of you to do so. Over on YouTube, an entire village is being sold by auction. We did this yesterday, Adrian. But yeah, this is another one of the stories I want to put to stories. I've fallen for that trap. Why is it that modern media people describe articles as stories? They are stories, of course, but they are articles. And yes, quite prescient, I think, with what's been going on at the BBC. They are opinionated angles of reporting on things. And this one from the Portugal News, I think that's what you're referring to. Oh, no. Oh, maybe not. I'm not sure. An entire village is being sold by auction with a guide price of over €1 million in central Portugal. It's 1.7, which is quite a lot more than a bit over $1 million. It has a pool and a tennis court. You'd expect that for that sort of money, would you not? Owned by a property company based in Cantanhede near Coimbra. Yes, we'll come back to that. We did make a little snippet, actually. It's up on our YouTube channel. What occurred to me about it that was attractive, it has its own chapel. It has its own chapel and restaurant, and it's had 5 million of investment into it already, and it's being sold for a fraction of that, or that's the guide price anyway. Maybe it will escalate. There may be some James Bond style mystery buyers at the auction, whispering into mobile phones and earpieces, and their secret buyers are saying, yes, go in, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, and it might escalate. But then again, it might not. We'll be keeping a close eye on that one. And it would make a good village for we haven't talked about this for a little while, but the Gumper retirement home. I think it has to happen, that we'll buy a community together. And this show could actually be a live performance every morning in the main hall, where you can take your teeth out, have your muesli liquidized and drink it through a straw whilst watching the Good Morning. We'll have such fun together. We really will. Okay, putting a banner onto the screen now. An entire village as being. That's not my banner. Please let us know your Portuguese pains and pleasures in the comments. That's what we're all about here at the Good Morning Portugal show. The fun, the facts, and the hacks. And come and join us free at the Portugal Club, of course, theportugalclub.com. And if you want to support this endeavour, you can do so there as well. There is now it's freemium, but there's also a premium if you want to support the Good Morning Portugal endeavour in the way that some people have very kindly over these last 5 years. In fact, you can do so by pressing the tiers button there, the offer to help support the show financially. Right, Apple should have called their AirPods Babel. What's going on here now? Have you bought some of those, Coach Turner? Bom dia, Gumpers, e feliz quarta. Don't forget your towel, Pete. What's going on? Is he going for a swim this morning in the lightning, wind and rain there? Very frightening in central Portugal. Okay, nowhere near. It's Visio, isn't it? On the roads with Gary, they are at least an hour or maybe a day, maybe a day away in central Portugal. Yes, you can look across the valley and think, I'll be over there in 10 minutes, 3 hours later. If only I could get a good fish in. What's going on? Has something been put in the water overnight? I'm not seeing much sense in the comments this morning. I mean, that's not unusual, to be fair, but especially so this morning. At least the like button is working today. Well, it appears to be. Thank you. Give it a squeeze. There is a Babel company, but even it would struggle with our local phrases and accents. We're talking about the Portuguese language. To be honest, same in my part of the world, especially among the kids. In it, Riz! Skibbity Riz. What do you mean I'm probably I was here, albeit, or 1 minute past. Aren't the Portuguese angry that they're selling their villages? That's quite generalization. I imagine most are indifferent. A tiny minority will be very pleased about it, rather than have it dilapidating up on the hill there. And others, yes, of course, will be saying, it's disgraceful. We'd rather have it dilapidating than foreigners coming in and buying it. Is Godot around? I see. So there was a little bit of unrest was there before the show. Complaints, I see. Do you want my livro de reclamações to complain about the late arrival this morning? Paul Rees joining us, of course, at about 8:20. So I'd better get on with it, with the Portuguese citizenship test question. And I've got an extra question for you. Do you know the company that makes the most money in Portugal? Which corporate here in Portugal makes the most money? I have another one of those memes. So many of these, because I dwell on them, I think, on X, I get served up even more of these little infographics about this, that, and the other companies making the most money, best beach, best food, all that sort of thing. I really like them, but I'm beginning to think they're quite shoddy as well. There's only so much information you can represent in that way, and sometimes it goes a little bit wonky. But alongside the Portuguese citizenship test question, which is about sausage this morning, and who doesn't like a bit of sausage first thing in the morning? It depends which one, of course, as we'll find out with the citizenship test question. Yes, alongside the sausage, and it's almost the full English, with another question: what is the the largest revenue generating company in Portugal? And you might think, well, that's going to be Sagres, isn't it? And again, context is all important here, isn't it? Is this a Portuguese-owned company? We'll find out more as we scratch the surface of this question. But let's go with a Portuguese company. Which one is earning the most here in Portugal? Coming live from Gumper's Village, we have Jackie What? Oh, I see. This is a vision of the Gumper Village. I've already gone off the idea if this is what it's going to be like, Jackie. I'm sure it would be world-class viewing. Yes. Oh, I see. So we would live stream our own morning from the Gumper Village. It's going to be like Disney, isn't it? It's going to be like Disney with wigs and surgical supports. And then we live stream that to other old folks' homes around the world. What's not to like? Who doesn't like an intermittent? What's this? An intermittent pause for what's going on? The police are top for making money by look of the. No, it's not the police that are making the most money. Shush. Very good, Jackie. Wow, that was strange. I was on an alternate universe thread, one where we were unable to see or visualize Jackie. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try and bring some sense to that. Pointless. Isn't it? Let me just shut a few tabs down as well. And that never helps, does it? All these open tabs. Although it's like a representation of my own febrile mind. The Portugal Club, that's what I'm looking for. Citizenship test question number 52. Let's bring it onto the screen now. I know, says the guy at the back. I know the answer to this. Has anyone voted yet? We've already had a vote in, actually, if I go there now. Oh, it was me. Dear, oh dear. We're already in the old folks' home. We're just not living together, everybody. Okay, Portuguese citizenship test question number 52. What is the name of the traditional Portuguese pork sausage from the Alentejo? And again, I think it's one of these somewhat misleading AI-generated questions. You know me; I'm not a big fan of the AI. I mean, I do acknowledge now our world is going to be completely transformed by AI. If not already, then in a way, almost beyond recognition. I think within the next 10 or 20 years, we need to prepare ourselves, Gumpers. And this is some early evidence of the trouble AI can cause. These 100 questions were generated by Grok. And number 52 is, what is the name of the traditional Portuguese pork sausage from the Alentejo? Is it farinheira? I think it is farinheira. Is it chorizo or is it alheira, the chicken sausage, to give you a little clue on option C? What do you think about that? And that other question that I was asking you this one, we'll come back to the Portugal Club because Antonio F., our Vizinho Português, has furnished a little more knowledge on the general strike that is threatened for December. And we've got the date confirmed, of course, for the presidential race, which is hotting up around about now as well. Okay, then, these companies that are making the most money in Europe, let's have a look at these. What's happening when I press this button? Oh, yes, something. That's good. Okay, some tiny print. Who's watching another stream? I've been waiting on the other 8 a.m. stream. Oh, is that tonight's show? I say show. Discussion. Can Muslims integrate? We can go from the sublime to the ridiculous here, can't we? On a sixpence. Tonight's serious discussion with Dr. Abdul Alim is about Islamic Muslim integration in Portugal. It's going to be a good one. Actually, it's not going to be on YouTube. It's just going to be on the Portugal Club, live on the Portugal Club at 8 p.m. this evening. My bad there, T-Duck, where I think you've been waiting for us. You're putting out 2 streams that says 8 a.m. waiting. And could you go in and switch that one off for me? Cheers. Thank you very much. I wonder how many other people are over there waiting for that. Just can't get the staff. Oh, my goodness. Right. I'm just going to hide your current comment and zoom in now at these heavy hitters across Europe. You'll see, and you won't be surprised by some of these. In Spain, for example, our neighbours, Santander, national company with the highest current revenue. So we'll go with some sense of national ownership because obviously BlackRock, other companies that are global, transnational, they can't claim to be. They might have a Portuguese branch, but they can't claim to be Portuguese. However, there is a Portuguese company, or so it would appear, that is making the most money here. We'll come back to them in just a minute. VW in Germany, Accenture in Ireland, Shell in the UK, Volvo where is my Volvo? In Sweden, and lots of other companies. OMV, they seem to be doing well in a couple of territories at least. D Trading sounds like something from James Bond, doesn't it? International exports. How can I help you? In Portugal, it is Jerónimo Martins, who I hear you ask. Yes, me too. They're the owners of Pingados and the Recheio cash and carry chain. Thanks, T-Duck, for sending me a screenshot of the stream that I am not on. Oh, and I'm wondering what all these photos are. Oh, that's bizarre, isn't it? So we've got two streams of the same show, not the can Muslims integrate discussion tonight, but 2 of these. This is exactly it, T-Duck. This is the problem I opened the show with. We are streaming in portrait and landscape. That's the problem. That is what's happening. I don't think this is. I think this is going to be one of those software releases like Apple Maps, perhaps, for StreamYard. It is not working, lads. This is not good. So I think that's the problem there. And as you were with can Muslims integrate tonight at 8? That will be on the Portugal Club on the Hangout facility, and we'll have a discussion with Dr. Abdul Alim tonight. But this thing you've discovered for us is this difficulty whether we're streaming in landscape or portrait. As it turns out, for some people, neither. That's not worked very well at all. There was only one stream when I joined. Okay, I'll see what I can do to tinker with that and maybe kill it off. I'm not impressed so far. So pleased I could assist with an alternative reality, and I just shut a cupboard door. So my work for the day is done. Well done, Jackie. Yes, have a little snooze now. Volvo is Chinese owned, and I thought we might get this. I thought we might get this. That's not a whatever Swedish company or Portuguese company. I don't know what to say about that. I guess if you dig deep enough, you find out that all the companies of the world are actually owned by 3 hedge funds or something similar. Depends to which degree you're prepared to dig deep, I suppose, or take a deep dive, as people say. Bondi Alegria Campus, TDAC is finally here. There's still one person there. How do we get a memo to them? To tell them that we're over here together in landscape and that portrait is rapidly gathering cobwebs and dust over there. So there you go, Geronimo Martins. And apparently, if I look them up, you can find out more about them if you so wish over on Wikipedia, of course, where I'm going to go now to tell you exactly how much money they made last year. Nice logo, by the way, Geronimo Martins. They are a Grupo Empresarial Português. Do you know what? I'm going to make it a little bit easier for myself and translate this to English. Portuguese corporate group that operates in food distribution and specialized retail. It has more than 6,000 stores in Portugal, Poland, Slovakia, and Colombia. That's quite the diversification. I wonder what they're bringing in from Colombia for their retail chain. The group is the majority owner of Geronimo Martins Retail JMR, which operates in the Pingo dos Super and Hipermercado chain in Portugal, as well as in another version of this. In Portugal, Geronimo Martins operates the Pingo dos chain of super and hypermarkets, as well as the Recheio chain of cash and carry stores. And they made in 2024 a mere 599 million. I suspect Volvo make a little bit more than that for their Chinese owners, but that's pretty respectable, isn't it? The revenue, that's quite an interesting net income there of 33.464 billion. They only make 600 million. Maybe that's just some very good accounting going on there. I suspect it is. But I wouldn't know for sure, and that's just a scurrilous rumor started by somebody other than me. Right, we'll talk to Paul in just a moment and get one of his wonderful updates from the world of central Portugal. Let me just take that heavy hitter, national companies with the highest revenue off the screen there. Everything's got much more complicated behind the scenes. Quick look then, just a couple of headlines from the Portugal Club. General strike has been announced by the two union confederations, the CGTP and the UGT, who I suspect you'll be hearing more about here in Portugal, and will take place next month on the 11th of December. The last one, I think, was back in 2008, where they were making their feelings heard before with a general strike. Government says there's no reason, as governments normally do, as the new labour law hasn't been approved yet. Aha! So that the unions are in this same situation that people looking at citizenship are. So, hey, hold on a minute. The president hasn't pushed the button or rubber stamped it yet. But anyway, they've heard enough to make them want to have a general strike. The unions say they have to strike because the government said they won't be changing their proposal. Quite a lot on Marcelo's desk at the moment. Thank you very much, Antonio, for that. A few more of your criminal facts and Portuguese sayings of the day over there at theportugalclub.com, which is free to join. You can trade up to premium and support the show as well. Yesterday's citizenship test question, it was the Battle of Aljubarrota. Yesterday, the battle in 1385, which secured Portugal's independence from Castile, which prompted me again to add something to the classroom about the Battle of Aljubarrota. Some amazing videos circulating about the Battle of Aljubarrota. Oh, this others were glad to hear about. Do you know the new car tax rules in Portugal? Payment of vehicle circulation tax. The IUC, not to be confused with an IUD, will change in 2026 in an attempt by the government to combat forgetfulness. Good luck with that, government. However, yes, it can come and go because people don't check their portal. Check your portal first thing in the morning. and you will find out if you're due to pay your IUC. But to stop that sort of forgetfulness and to simplify the tax process, which is some of the most efficient parts of the Portuguese government and bureaucracy, isn't it, when it comes to collecting money, there is a new system for the IUC, and there's a link through to that. Thank you for sharing this, Carl. Critical information, because Bob and Viv got a bit of a surprise on that. And finally, then, just to confirm, Portuguese recipes like those, I should be adding some sausage information to that thread a little bit later on today. It will be the 18th of January then, when the next president of Portugal will be decided. I don't know if it's a nice quick vote as it was with the local elections. That was done and dusted very quickly. The results were known the same day, were they not? Later on that same day. Very good. Right, okay, let's give him a nice big round of applause, and hopefully there won't be any of this landscape portrait modern nonsense going on for when I bring Paul onto the screen. Finally, he says. How are you doing, Paul? I think we're okay so far.
Very good. How are you?
I'm well, slightly thrown by it's the big technological sort of trade-off, isn't it? Let's try something new. Let's just think of the upside, and then when it's implemented, all the downsides suddenly become clear, do they not?
Yeah, usually. Especially when operating with 5 thumbs.
Yes, guilty as charged here, and it's a right old mess in the back office. I need a screen twice as big as the one I've got to understand what's going on as well. So
those boys in the lab, yeah.
It hasn't been made for the more mature user. I suspect
this is very true. I was listening to your largest companies, most profitable.
Oh, yes. What did you make of that?
Well, there are different ways of managing it. There's highest turnover. There's the biggest profit in cash terms, which is Galp. Then there's the most profitable, which is return on, looking at the capitalization of the company and the profit expressed as a percentage. But Galp is pretty much up there. Then there's a bank, BCP. I think yours, Geronimo Martins, comes in at 4th. So there's another one in there, EDP, actually, sadly.
The famous Portuguese energy company.
Yeah, which is owned by large funds, as you say, and 2 Chinese funds, government, basically, and BlackRock, and load of other.
Really?
Load of other. But I think with energy prices, you've always got to look at the tax that's added to it, and there's justifiable arguments both in many countries that the government loads taxes on green taxes and VATs and this, that, and the other, and of course it pays for our there's a radio TV license mixed in there as well, in an EDP bill, which is bizarre. It's €1 a month or something, but multiply that by.
Can you imagine? The Chinese investors and BlackRock are analysing the accounts, and they say, "What's this heading here? TV radio license? What? I mean, we'll take the money, but why is this? Why have we got this?"
It's probably a better way of collecting it than the BBC model, where you sort of
with a baseball bat.
Write to people and ask,
and then threaten them,
withhold it. If it's linked to your electricity bill and you choose not to pay it, you get cut off. I mean, it's quite cunning, really.
Oh, don't worry, Paul. It'll be linked to the digital ID, I suspect. The BBC.
I'm sure. Listen, you picked up quickly on the village for sale.
Oh yes, we've got that as well.
Yeah, which was I don't know. I think that only came on a couple of days ago, but it's caused quite a lot of interest. I'm not saying from the buyers, but from the media anyway. So it's
right. And what do you make of it? Because it's not unusual, is it, to have this story? Sometimes it's Italy, sometimes it's Spain, sometimes it's Portugal. Village for sale. I mean, it's great if you're writing a newspaper, isn't it? You can just chuck that in. Half a page filled up with one of those and a few pictures. So 1.4 million was what I saw. And what do you make of it? Have you put a bid in yet?
Well, no. I wouldn't put a bid in on day 3.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
It's it's 1.7. On that, you can add the premium, which is another 10%. But I mean, interestingly, it's a bit unclear. It's had funds applied to it, this couple of mil, So what funds are those? Are they repayable? You know, what's going on? Are you buying a company that owns it or each individual property? There's a lot of other questions. On the plus side, if one was to buy it for a touristic development, and clearly the buildings that have been renovated look like that was the direction it was going, in that there's a tennis court and a restaurant. It would be interesting to see if it's had EU funds applied already, and whether you can then apply under the next wave of grants for this 65% grant towards capital. So depending on the density of population in the area, which is between Tondela and Viseu, isn't it? So it is, yeah. It'll be a bit sparse, not like up in the Serra, but it'll be a bit sparse. So you, under the next round of grants for touristic development, there's a possibility of getting up to 65% non-repayable capital paid for basically by the EU. But it's a question, if they put money into it already, are they prepared to continue that, to effectively buy what they've paid for already? So it's quite an interesting sort of circle.
Maybe they won't notice. Maybe when that bit of paperwork goes back to Brussels.
I mean, it is filtered through Portugal's administration system. So yeah, but it's that would be the way forward to get it up and running as a touristic development. And there's various key things you have to do, such as the employment. You can't sell it for X years. But if that would be a sensible route. And if you added up the individual buildings in that area, and it says there's a rather round figure of 100 hectares, I mean, that needs looking at. And what's the value of that land? Is it heavily forested? Is there a cash crop sitting there waiting to be cut down? Or is it open farmland? All with different values. It'd be interesting to get a more accurate assessment, but they will rely on interested parties to make these inquiries. This is an auction house. It auctions seized cars in Angola as well as properties. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they Lilosoc.
Yeah, it's a big auction warehouse basically.
Is it?
But they do Mozambique, Angola, and here, and they do cars, all sorts of things, businesses.
I'll be looking that up.
I dealt with them on one property, and they're pretty straightforward, but they're business-like. Put in a bid, pay the premium, and it's yours. So I have noticed that. It's certainly down to the buyer to check everything extremely carefully. If this is a sale from a company that owns it, then that needs checking out. Are you buying the company or buying it out of the company? I suggest the latter is a better idea.
Thank goodness you're here asking the right questions, as you did with the heavy hitters of earnings across Europe. You know the right questions, don't you, with these sorts of things?
But I think it's similar if you're buying a car from an auction. You want to know that the person selling it has got title to it. You want to know its history. You want to check its service record. It's and you want to know the cost of repairs. So it's no different really. But people get starry-eyed about property, less so at this area because it will probably be a corporate buyer who knows what they're doing.
And the sort of person who's not going to be impressed by a tennis court. Isn't it interesting with these very expensive listings? It's clearly done by the lower paid, isn't it? Who say, oh, it's got a cinema and a tennis court. Yeah. I imagine when you're spending millions, if you want a tennis court, you'd probably build one, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be swayed to buy a property because it's got a cinema and a tennis court, right?
Yeah, I'd look at the maintenance cost of a grass court.
Exactly.
And it looks like a grass court, I think. I only looked at it quickly. Yeah, you look at that and you look at, it's got a pool. Okay, what's the heating system? Has it got heating? What's the running cost of that? What's the benefit for the area? How much is it used? Is there an adequate sunbathing area around it? All this stuff. Is it kid friendly? So you look at things in a different way rather than looking at sort of villa listings in Villamora.
Yeah, exactly. You're not looking for an Airbnb, are you? You know, it's not the things you want for a holiday. It's the things that you're going to have to pay for on an ongoing basis whilst you're looking at the whole picture. So very interesting.
Yeah,
Sorry,
something like this, you'd also look at electricity supply.
Oh yeah.
Whether there's enough electricity supply. Look at water. It says it's got water. If it's for AL, that needs to be filtered on a fairly large scale. You want to look at sewage. Where's that going now? Do you have to build that into it? There's all sorts of questions, but it looks an attractive site, and it's had, you know, it was, I don't think it burnt to the ground, but it certainly had government money for a rebuild. I think it was relaunched by a minister in early 2000s. So they'd obviously bought something that was falling apart and have largely reconstructed it, which is great. So those buildings at least are preserved, but there's several buildings that aren't marked as completed. And I couldn't see any inside shots of any of the buildings. So
funny that.
So what are they? They lived in? Are they filled with Joao Marias that pottering around with their goats?
I see.
Who may not wish to leave, or are they actually empty?
I see. Okay, yes, that wasn't where my mind was going. I was thinking unfinished with Sagres bottles and black bin liners.
It may be like that. Yeah. It's clearly marked on the map which ones are completed and which ones aren't.
Okay, very interesting. Yeah. It's a picturesque place. It might be a complete barge pole job, mightn't it? Because it's got a troubled history. And would you agree with something like this? You need someone to come in who's pretty ruthless rather than sentimental. It seems like sentimentality is dashed quite quickly on a project of this kind.
Yeah, and I think on bidding on this, it's going to be corporate. It's not going to be starry-eyed people bidding on a villa that needs repairs. It's I think you're going to get, if there are bids at all, it'll be highly practical people that know what they're doing, know that area, and know what grants are available.
Yes,
to ease the pain of reconstruction, and they also have a good idea of what labour's involved to finish it and whether that's available, etc., etc. VAT rates, can they get 6%, not 23%? There's also
a difference. Yes,
yeah, it would be.
And of course, there might be the obligatory British TV crew at the back of the auction room as well. That would make good TV, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
to have an ill-fated British couple. They've got 1.5 million to spend, and they come along to the auction today to buy this delightful village in central Portugal. And David has put his hand up. Oh, he seems to have won the bid. And then they're dancing around, aren't they? The lady of the couple is crying, and oh my God, we've got it. And then they find out after the break, they've got 10 million euros they need to invest in the property. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah, but most of which is VAT. So
what a contribution! You need I think a public award, don't you, from the government if you're going to be investing that amount of EVA into the system. The other thing I noticed about bringing this up onto the screen, Paul, have you seen this before? This is new to me, and I have to say, actually, looking at this whole screen here, it is a vignette of the crazy times we're living in. So there's a village you can buy for 1.7 million. There is chair yoga for seniors. Whoever thought we'd see that in our lifetime? There is Portugal approves the burqa ban, and Nicole Kidman set to join Celebrity Enclave in Hamptons of Portugal. And the nationality law might change. Your rights shouldn't. Join us now and act to protect those already in process. Keepthepromise.pt. Have you seen this before? I haven't.
No, there've been a load of agencies popping up around the nationality laws that seem to have gone through Parliament.
Wow. Yeah,
all offering help and support, but none of which are able to fast track you to an appointment with AIMA. So
there you are, straight to the heart of the matter again. That's the truth of it, isn't it? You know, this you would think is good business for legal companies, and here it is. I've never seen this before. This is brand new on your screen. Keepthepromise.pt, and this is all about the proposed changes, which the president is about to rubber stamp. He might throw it out to the Constitutional Court, but nobody, even those working in the law, have an advantage when it comes to processing. They're up against the same barriers as you, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And I was slightly, well, what can I say? Insert adjective here, to see the minister in charge of AMET saying how wonderful it's been, and their processing numbers are well up on the same period last year. And they're doing a bit of a blame the last lot. You know, we inherited 400,000 backlog and all that.
Familiar pattern.
The government has failed to properly to resource the machine that processes such applications. On the one side, you've got the government saying we need more immigrants. Now they have to be the right sort of immigrants, and now they're making it quite hard, not only for people that are here already that want permanent residency, but incomers who are looking at a range of countries.
Yes.
In which to live. So you've got one side of the government promoting Portugal as a fantastic lifestyle, etc. And the other side it's saying, yeah, well, we can't really help you with that, or we can't reply, or the website's down, or you just have to wait your turn. And people are not prepared to do it. And all the government's got to do is look at the blogs and the complaints and the people in desperation, because they can't travel. The travel restrictions on people waiting for permanent residency are severe. They've just extended. There's all the people that got in under the Brexit deal.
Yep.
And they've had another 2 years added to their temporary residency before and now it's up to 7 or 10. I mean, the whole thing is a complete jumble. I mean, the fact I can't explain it correctly means that for somebody researching whether to move here or not is going to look at it. What is going on? I mean,
yes, and there's a sort of elastic part, isn't there? The I suppose the worthwhileness part of the Venn diagram. It is a good proposition to come here. I still believe that. And then you have to overlay how much trouble is it to get here. Yeah. And there's the overlap, it can get smaller and smaller. And people aren't going to, if they don't know what it's like here and they're only going on the videos and their sense of it from a holiday, and then another offer comes up from Moldova or somebody who's going to pay you to move to their country because they actually really want people to go there. The people aren't going to just give themselves extra inconvenience, are they, for some possible return? I don't think. But the government doesn't think in that way. No government does it? I don't think.
Well, and it should do, and it's the international reputation of frequent change. And
yes.
Portugal more recently, the golden visa frequent change, NHR shut down for completely political reasons, as was the NHR stopping property investment, where most people, 90% of people were buying something for over 500 grand, then moving into it or letting it, the same effect. It's still economically generative, and then for political reasons, we're not doing property anymore. It's pushing up property prices. It's such nonsense.
It is, isn't it? It is.
It's nonsense. And the reason there's a property crisis is the government isn't enabling enough houses to be built.
Yep.
The ones that are being built, as I've said many times, the builders are going for their own profitability and building houses in the mid to higher range. Why would they build?
As they would.
Why would they build council houses? That's up to the state to do that. And they've resolutely refused to do it for generation after generation. And then cutting a perfectly good incoming investment scheme that brought billions into the country on political grounds to satisfy Caterina Martins, basically, was nonsensical. And the government has done it before. Even Socrates, if you remember him, stop the overseas, the benefits of owning your villa through an overseas company. Stopped it overnight. Cost a swathe of residents tens of thousands of euros because they had to transfer their own property into their own name. So they didn't move house. They just had to send off a tax bill, the tax amount, and just changed it overnight. So it's a complete change of the rules. People saying, it was a tax dodge. No, it wasn't. There were leaflets in high street banks pushing this.
Yes.
It was welcomed by the government as a way of getting inbound investment, and that same
Until
thing
it's not.
has continued throughout. Is we'll draw people in, and then if we start getting asked questions in Parliament, things aren't going well, and we need to do a deal, we'll shut it.
Well, that does seem to be the curve, doesn't it? It's like when I'm on the way up as a politician, I will approve these cash generating systems because they look quite good on the balance sheet.
Yeah.
Then later on in the administration, when there's a lot more political heat and I've got my eye on a job elsewhere in Europe, it's not so important anymore, is it? And that seems to be quite a well-known formula here.
Yeah, and people do look. If you look at the exit of the wealthy and the middle classes from the United Kingdom, and those planning to move should the budget hit them where they are pretty sure it's going to hit them, they are looking. Many people are looking at where to live next.
Yes.
And you see what places like Dubai are doing. I mean, every third ad I see is for move to Dubai.
Yes.
The tax advantages, the flight times, the hospital, this, that, and the other. Actually, for something stuck in the middle of a desert, I've never been there actually. Fiscally looks far more attractive than moving here and going through this pain of not being able to get appointments, of websites that don't work, of helplines that are permanently engaged. It's just, it's not good. Many would prefer to stay within the EU for good reason.
These are fixable things as well, aren't they, Paul? It's it's not like some sort of act of God that is preventing these things. This is an act of poor management. And
it is. And you look at Portugal promoting itself as the sort of IT mecca. And yes, Microsoft are spending billions in CNES and everything's going swimmingly. And you look at some of the government systems, there's very little use of AI that they claim to want to be the world's leading authority.
That's true. Yes, it's like forked tongue, isn't it? On the one hand, we're going to lead the way in AI, but we can't reduce queues for administrative procedures, which you'd think would be an ideal use case, would you not?
Yeah, absolutely. And an immediate translation, and it's extraordinary. It's even down to the Finance's website. The Finance, I must say, the website is comprehensive.
Yes,
but most of it is in one language.
Hmm.
And you think now, why not have it in a load of languages, and then people wouldn't have to pester their accountants with so many facile questions and make it easy.
Doable. I mean, again, this is one of the great promises of AI. That should be done. I mean, I was on the Vodafone website. It's quite a moan fest this morning, isn't it? But I'm quite enjoying it, I have to say. I was on the Vodafone website and I tried to ask a question of Toby, the robot. Sorry, we don't do English yet. And okay, fair enough. It's awkward when you're talking to a Vodafone representative who, if it's not in the English speaking department, because I think it's a preferential department, it's awkward and difficult. And we all want to speak more Portuguese, and some of us do and we don't. But then there's the automated part, which you think would be really easy to be able to ask questions in any language whatsoever, because those are just pattern recognitions, aren't they? And easily implemented with the right allocation of resources and effort and consciousness of the company, really. But we shall see. These are, again, part of the crazy times we're living in. Apparently, Paul, you can write to the president using this website that I've just discovered this very morning. There we were considering buying a village, and suddenly we're now writing to the president. And this is the suggestion of keep the promise. I don't know who's behind this, and there isn't a photograph of somebody saying, "Hello, my name's William Batchworthy, MBE, and I've got a message for you." I don't know who this is. It might be a few law firms who've got together. The letter to the president, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. This is a correct way to approach him. Apparently, I am writing to respectfully request that you consider submitting to the Constitutional Court for preventive review the law that changes the nationality law. The law that changes the nationality law regarding the residence period for naturalization. And on it goes, and it's in English as well. So you might want to translate that too if you're writing to the president of Portugal. But there you go. Something is afoot here, and I don't know if this is going to be leading to a big tasty class action for a number of law firms. Do you think that's what the game plan might be for this?
I mean, I think it's good to have these sort of ways of complaining. And presidency will change soon anyway, but that doesn't matter. It's not the person; it's the position. Indeed. No, I think they're good. I mean, there are petitions, as you know. There's the public petition website as well, that gets various levels of support.
Yes.
Let me put it that way. But,
yes.
Some of which are really hot topics, and they get sort of 2,000 people sign up, and others that are insane. Anything to do with animals gets tens of thousands. So it's
indeed,
quite
interesting.
But no, the complaint. I mean, I've complained to the Justice Ministry often and get very polite replies and very clear replies from the minister or the minister's office.
You do.
So a petition to the president, I'm sure, will be looked at, if hopefully not just as an annoyance, but at least will flag up the issue.
Yes, well, incredible times we're living in. These are symptoms, I think, of underlying problems, but let's see what happens. Do you think the president will receive anything by January, says Pete? It took him 2 weeks to get the bill, and whatever his decision, a two-thirds majority overrules them. I think that's about right, isn't it, there with how the process works? But that is, for many people, a last hope, how it might be put to the Constitutional Court, the unfairness that's being highlighted in this Keep the Promise website that we've discovered this very morning, and not even had a chance to talk about central Portugal. Well, we have. That village is in central Portugal.
That's near our friend Q in Tondela.
It is, isn't it? And this is good contextual stuff. And we're being very frank and open with anyone considering investing in Portugal this morning. Because when you were talking about technology and with Web Summit going on at the moment and the big data center in Sines, it's like, you can imagine, can't you, at Web Summit, there will be government officials there, and there will be tech industry people getting very excited about the possibility of bringing things and investing in Portugal. And then they'll ask awkward questions like, so how do I bring my team of 50 here? And the government officials will be like, we'll get someone to get in touch with you about that, because that's not our department. And that's where the problems will begin, won't they? I mean, it will be sizzling at Web Summit with potential and possibility and great things of inward investment. But if they can't get the nuts and bolts right in actually welcoming people here to do those jobs and make those investments here on the ground, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it is. And also, a lot of the tech companies look at their employees who are well paid and look at a 48% tax rate. And think, oh, well, we're either going to have to pay them more than we do in the States, or, what's going on? So it is, people spend, when the rules are too harsh or seemingly unfair, or taxes are too high, people spend a huge amount of time and effort circumventing them. So there will be all sorts of ways with tech employees of how to make sure the employee is better off at no additional cost to the company. Let me put it that way.
That would be what people call joined up thinking, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
Make a package that's really attractive. Now, are you aware of any political party or political representative who is talking in these terms? It's like making the Portugal the Singapore of Europe, I suppose, isn't it? It will be a catchphrase like that, where we're going to cut through this nonsense and make it easy for big firms to come and do great things and not be remotely located, so that they can be here and spend their massive salary here in Portugal rather than being remote and avoiding 48% tax. Is anyone talking like that, entrepreneurially, politically, in this country?
No, because the reason you got to look at the DNA of Portugal is not capitalist, anti-capitalist. It's subservient to the state. The state provides everything from cradle to grave. Why should we do more than turn up at the factory door? So the current generations, who are far better educated than their parents or grandparents, are working in Paris, Frankfurt, Dusseldorf, and Dubai.
Yep.
And to lure them back with promises of great bounty and lifestyle, that people are sophisticated. They'll look at their tax position. They'll look at where they are in the family. Do they want to bring up a family here, or do they want better opportunities for their own children? So it's been anti-capitalist for so long. You've got to remember the period of stasis of decade after decade through the Salazar period, when the big favored companies and the big favored families made fortunes, mainly due to import restrictions, thus pushing up the prices here for bread, coal, cement, stuff that was artificially protected. And everybody else just trundled along, saying nothing, working down the factory if they had a job, or on the land, or joining the GNR, and pottering along and saying nothing. So there's not enough complaining here. They're still led by successive governments that are haughty, superior, and not responsive. And the taxes for those that pay tax here are unnecessarily high.
What a searing analysis this morning, Paul. And great irony, possibly here. It's why we like Portugal, is it not? Those conditions have contributed to make the Portugal we love, in part.
Well, they've contributed to holding it back, and they've contributed to.
Aren't they the same thing in a way? Aren't those?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they are. I mean, I remember the Algarve in the 80s.
Yes,
and I see it now, and that hasn't been held back so much because there's tons of foreign investment, because fundamentally it's a good place to be and do business. The rest of the country, outside of Lisbon, Coimbra, Porto, Braga, so the interior, successive governments have come up with a range of incentives for people perhaps to move back if they feel like it, and for companies to relocate. Actually, more importantly is companies relocating, because the tax break on that is good.
Yeah.
But to lure people away from guaranteed employment, because it's not just the main employer. If you're in Leiria or Nazaré or somewhere down on the coast, the husband, let us look at a traditional family, the husband has a job fixing computers or aircon systems. That's great, okay, and there's more to do, and he's well employed. It's also about the secondary employment. Sorry about this awful sexism, but if the wife also can get a job at the local solicitors or doing whatever, then you've got almost guaranteed dual income in those areas. If you move inland, unless you're both tech companies can work online, then it's difficult. Yeah, you see the odd sign up saying help wanted in the local Pingados, but there's not. It's for that second job, which can be all important, especially if it can be part-time and work around childcare, that restricts people moving. So there are tax breaks to move inland, but fundamentally the inland bit needs more housing, it needs more lower cost housing, and it needs more businesses to move inland. And with business, I was talking to some people in Pedrógão Grande here, and there's a huge industrial area that's never been built on. That'd be ideal for low cost housing. And I said, well, what does this town need? They said, well, it needs housing. I said, well, what about jobs? I said, well, it's pointless setting up a new factory here to do whatever if there's nowhere for people to live. And so it's chicken and egg. And the builders won't build cheap housing. It needs to be supported by the state or Brussels. And
a complete package, right? It needs to be the Quakers of Bourneville again, does it not?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's exactly that.
Yes,
exactly that. Where it's, I mean, that's the Bourneville. I think was rented. I think you rented it off the company rather than bought it. But if I was to build property, if I was to renovate outside of ARU areas, registered, registered historic areas, I'm still charged 23% VAT, not 6%. The 6% VAT is for new build, which doesn't interest me, and it's for renovations within historic areas, which is going to be higher priced properties by the time you're finished.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, it doesn't help those people buying an old farmhouse putting an extension on it from 50 meters to 150. There's no incentive. There's no tax break to do it. Certainly not from my point of view.
And that's just part of it.
Asked our accountants what the new 6% VAT rate will be early next year. It's now late, middle of next year, which has put on hold every single planning application in the country.
Yeah. It's very short-sighted political thinking.
It's idiotic. And then the VAT thing, it's very specific as to how you can apply, and then you've still got to jump through the local camera hoops, and then you've got to face financiers as well with the correct documentation. The larger project is anything with me to do dealing with the state, I avoid.
Is it fair to say we're going into the winter with slightly downbeat this year, Paul?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I mean, the subject today seems to have been on inward investment. There's some good stuff going on, but if I was to advise the government, it's to make more incentives for business, and everything flows from that. Everything flows from employment and income around that, and then people, if they're given incentives to move here, that may be a deciding factor. It's certainly a good factor. They're getting a better tax deal. They're getting grants to move. All that sort of stuff is good. But if it's a healthy company, the company could be giving that as well.
That's true. Now, it's interesting because we have gone off on quite a tangent this morning, but I think a worthwhile one, setting the scene here and getting a few things off our chest. We were going to talk about this subsidy. Perhaps we don't need to now. I'd love to have a little bit of a palate cleanse of an update on what you're doing with rural properties. But just very quickly to say on this, this is not the long-term resident status. It was being paid to live in Central, wasn't it? But maybe enough said on that it's really quite hard work, isn't it? It's not an obvious subsidy. It's not a very attractive subsidy. And then when I sent you to the link for it, the link had gone. It doesn't seem like the government is especially serious to have people relocate to Central Portugal.
Yeah, there is a subsidy. It's in, you've got to qualify for sort of each step through, but it's up to nearly $5,000. So it is worthwhile. But more important is the mortgage and IMT and stamp duty allowances for younger couples,
right?
Singles. That has been far more impactful because that's given mobility to a load of people that are renting.
Yes.
So now it gives mobility generally. It's not pointing them to inland areas, but I've sold to people under that scheme. They've been very happy to move from Setúbal in one case, where they say their current mortgage repayments is less than half what they're paying in rent, and they own the house now, so they're extremely happy to do that. I mean, something like that was targeted to inland areas would be good. But that's a more general scheme, which has had a huge benefits. I mean, it's got almost generation rent off the rental hook if they qualify the right age group, etc.
Yeah,
and young couples bringing up children in villages has enormous benefits, not only to the feeling of the village and the happy old ladies who then immediately want to do babysitting. They're happy to hear children's voices again. So there is all that side to it. But you looked at economic terms, people respond to money. They make lifestyle choices out of money. If they're going to be significantly better off moving from Lisbon to Sertã, they'll look at it. They're not stupid. They'll do a spreadsheet. They'll look at moving costs, lifestyle costs, school availability, hospitals, etc., etc. It's not just the money. It's the whole. If you're going to move your life, you're not going to go and live at the top of a mountain. If you need to be within 10 minutes of a town. So,
and also there is a huge cultural awareness about this. It's nothing new, is it, to Portuguese young people to be considering their options and what all the criteria are. So that, in many ways, anyone pitching a new idea has to work doubly hard, I think, to make it attractive. And also on another cultural note, if Portuguese people are and I don't doubt that they are sincere in wanting to preserve Portuguese values, but you actually have to do it, don't you? You might have to have children. Go to church. I don't know, but all these things that are like the UK reform vision of Spitfires flying over and people playing golf. Not playing golf on the village green, playing cricket on the village green. There's a Portuguese equivalent of that, isn't there? Of like a rural life where it's multi-generational.
Yeah.
And the kids are at a local school, and it's the traditional picture that you were referring to earlier on. But it actually has to be lived. You can't just hope for it, can you? And hope someone else does it. Other people are going to church for you to uphold the Christian values, and other people are having children to uphold family values. You kind of have to do it as well. But also, obviously, the government has to make that possible for people, or set a scene.
You got to pick your own olives, as they say. Yeah,
is that the shorthand for it? Okay, that puts everybody off. That suddenly rules everybody out again, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. No, it's been olive, as you know, olive picking season.
Yeah,
no, it's been very interesting. The small town where I live, the olive plant was removed last year, and it's
bad timing.
Quite an effect. In fact, in the local shop the other day, I asked the owner, Donna Paola, where is everyone? It's so quiet. I said, they're all off olive picking.
Yeah.
And of course, now we don't get the great influx of cars and chatter and cafes filling up because everyone's back at the olive plant waiting for their stuff to be processed. It's very different than last year. I remember it last year. Yeah. And it was kind of a mini festival. It's fantastic. Yeah. But because that's shut, everyone, I don't know where they're going now, miles away, sadly. But
sadly so, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and again, what do you do about that? What do you do about for those who can see it, perhaps they're the ones who intervene and prolong the lives of these important facilities, rather than, because I say the government should make it possible. I don't think that's going to happen. Have we not learned that yet? To keep asking for this paternalistic help for it only to never be there. A different model's required, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. The government is not there to aid generally.
No,
and all the grants are coming through from Brussels anyway. So
so a different model is required of an entrepreneurial model. I would have thought with a social understanding, the kind of which we're talking about this morning. Maybe it will come from the Gumper community, and maybe we will have our Gumpers old folks home one day of proud expats and retirees who've changed the fabric of the country in that very way that we're talking about. Rural properties then, we're over time, but we should make sure we have a quick check-in, Paul, with what's going on. What's new over at your site and in your world of development and renovation?
Well, it's business as usual. We've got 2 major projects we're working on in Serta and Pedroga Grande. I'm off today to look at some property near to it's about an hour north of Coimbra in Espinel, not Espinal.
Oh, okay. Right.
But business just as busy, even though the sun's not shining. So that's fine. Okay. The daylight hours are a bit restricted now, but so that's in terms of viewings. But yeah, good. Yeah, but business it's a quiet time of year for viewings, obviously.
Yes,
and I've noticed some price rises and some prices going up and some going down. So it's a mixed bag. A big property was sold in Pedroga Grande recently, which was 700,000 plus, which is nicely presented villa. Mm. So there is money. Yeah, there's money around. Certainly,
and thankfully, not everybody's been put off with the shenanigans we've been talking about earlier.
Cool. There's still a mobile middle class. There's still incomers. That sale was to a multi-generational French family, I think,
right?
Grandparents, parents, and kids. So there's still a lot going on, but
I'm delighted to hear that.
We were talking about the local market and people moving in and local businesses setting up and grants and stuff. Mixed in with that is the normal toing and froing of better off immigrants, retirees deciding where to live in Portugal, putting up with AIMA and just moving here and getting on with it and enjoying. I see cafes with smiling people. So
excellent.
Certainly not a depressing situation.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that because we know that, don't we? We know what's possible here, and it's just a shame that these unnecessary obstacles are in the way, and we hope they get them sorted out soon.
Yeah, and in a way, we've got the luxury of time to moan about them. So
that's also true. That's also true. Yeah. If we were the BBC, who have been in the news obviously recently, we'd have had to finish by now and go to the news or something like that. We were able to unpack our conversation in the long form until we finished. So thank you very much, Paul. Always fascinating to talk to you. Go to rural-properties.com, as you can see on the screen there, if you want to find out more about what Paul's doing and invest here as well. There's an investors list you can join too to invest in the excellent work of the company. All right, Paul, thanks so much. We'll see you again next month. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. And sorry about this landscape portrait thing. I'm going to see what I can do about that so we don't have the same problem tomorrow morning. Take care and bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show